Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with Merlin. Last time on Merlin, we had Love in the Time of Dragons. So basically, Gaius's old flame, Alice, showed up, and things seemed to be going well, you know? Gaius was reconnecting to his lost love, but she had an evil plan. Well, actually, the Manticore had an evil plan. And the Manticore, who was completely evil and kind of weird looking and very small, actually, was controlling Alice. So, yeah, that sucked. But at the end, they killed the Manticore, and she was going to be executed. Alice was going to be executed, but she managed to escape with the help of Gaius. And yeah, that was pretty much that. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. This is also where I say that if you want to watch my reaction to this episode of Merlin, it is unfortunately not in this YouTube video due to copyright issues that I've had in the past. So what you gotta do is head down in the description or the pinned comment. There'll be a link there, and that link will take you to my reaction highlight. And it's all nice and good. And when you're done watching that, you should pop right back over here to this YouTube video for the discussion. So yeah, with that said, we should get right into this episode of Merlin. Here we go. What a ballsy bastard. That may be his ballsiest plan he's ever done, but that was pretty good, I have to say. He really stuck his neck out for the two of them, and more than I feel like has ever done, just for the simple fact that he put himself on death row for the two of them. I don't know, maybe I'm over exaggerating, but honestly, that was incredible. I really did like his plan, as ballsy as it was. And just for the satisfaction of just seeing Morgana's look of confusement. Oh my gosh, it was perfect. And that's the thing. You know, some of us have been, we've been talking in the comments about, everything that's happened with Morgana and, how she was treated and what ultimately, pushed her to join the dark side. But you know what? I don't think you can really redeem her at this point. I don't think you can redeem her. And I don't think... I feel like this is the worst thing, because, we have done this before, where it's like, oh, she's testing their relationship, but that was with, just trying to kill Arthur, and they kidnapped Gwen's brother. That wasn't, when all was said and done, it wasn't so horrible. This, on the other hand, actively trying to get Gwen killed, and then, get Arthur, throw Arthur into such sorrow if she did die. It's like, you know what, Dunyan rings with Morgana. We are Dunyan rings. Oh my gosh. That's the thing, is, you know what? You go against these two, that is the line. The line must be drawn here! This far, and no farther! Oh my gosh. Which, I guess I have to say then, I guess this episode has finally confirmed it within me. Yeah, I'm an Arthur and Gwen shipper. Alright, I should confess that. I know some of you guys also in the comments have said that you don't really care for their relationship. It's not like it's the greatest written relationship ever written, but I think it's pretty solid, honestly. And the fact that, obviously, it's a ship that's canon, and again, that's, I always love talking about canon when it comes to Arthurian legend. It's like, what the hell is canon when it comes to Arthur, the tales of King Arthur? But when you look at it, that is technically canon, you know? That is canon, you know, the relationship. So, obviously they would go there. So, it would be weird either to ship. If you ship them, it's weird because it's sort of a, well, duh, that's going to happen. And if you don't ship them, it's kind of a, well, duh, they're going to get together, you know? Because they are somewhat sticking to canon. Somewhat, I have to say. So, oh boy. So, that's the thing, is that, you know, it's, I guess I have to admit it. I guess I have to admit that I ship Arthur and Gwen, because, you know, after this episode, I am all in on their relationship, and I am all out on Morgana. And I love Morgana. She is a compelling villain, you know? She's a compelling villain. I love her. She's beautiful and scary as all get out. But you know what? You go against that couple, and I am done, you know? I'm done. I was starting to get a little mad, you know? Mainly after just, like, 5 minutes straight of Uther being Uther. That was the thing. It was like 5 minutes. Like, let me look. I'm looking. Let's see. So it started... Well, yeah, just with everything of, you know, enchanted, sorceress and everything, and yelling and take him away and everything. That, I swear that's 5 minutes. 5 minutes of Uther being Uther. And that's the thing is, you know, because that's the thing is, Uther is just being Uther in this episode. Uther is just being Uther, but it's the fact that Morgana could so easily manipulate it so that we have Uther basically at his, you know, most dangerous when he is, you know, trying to, you know, execute someone, burn them at the stake. And it's to our good couple with our good boy Arthur and our good girl Gwen. They are so innocent and nice, you know. Yeah, Arthur's a bit of a dickhead, but whatever. But they are so good, and they're so out of the loop on the entire story that we have, you know. Okay, yes, Gwen knows about Morgana having magic, but still, Arthur doesn't know that, you know, and she doesn't know about... They don't know about the larger plot or really anything with Morgause other than, you know, Arthur knows Morgause is out there. You know, they're not in it like Merlin and Gaius or Gawain or Lancelot, to name a few, I guess. Like, that's the thing, is that they are just sort of doing their thing, going about their lives, and hey, maybe, you know, maybe they could at least have these feelings for each other. And then for Morgana to manipulate this whole situation to where Gwen would be burned at the stake. That is the thing, you know? It's not just that, well, you know, she's going to be banished. Because that was the thing. It's like, okay, she's going to be banished because, you know, oh, Arthur can't be with a servant girl. But for her to then go a step further to frame her as a sorcerer and, you know, make sure that she gets burned at the stake, her loyal servant and friend, you know what, I'm out. You know, I'm out on Morgana. It's like, you know what, screw it. I hope Merlin... I hope someone blows her up. You know, I hope Arthur kills her. Let's go with that. If we're going to be fair, because, you know, again, we have our talks in the comments, which I enjoy our talks. You know, they're a lot of fun. But I think I think we're, like, past the point of no return on Morgana. I was just like, you know what? You tried to mess with our good couple. You tried to mess with our good boy, who, okay, I understand, you know, okay, gotta get rid of him because he's... You know, if you got to get rid of him so you can be the heir to the throne, all right, I understand that. But to go against Gwen, our good girl Gwen, done, I'm out. No. It's the point of no return. That is the line that Morgana crossed, is going against our good girl. You know? Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Oh, oh no. I've been on such a high throughout this episode. I'm not actually high, but I'm high on adrenaline throughout this episode. That it's like now that I've like stopped, it's like I'm actually like sort of. I am actually stopping. It's like I'm losing my adrenaline. I'm getting tired now after everything that I've gone on, you know. So oh my gosh. Essentially, I've started to breathe again. This rant is coming down. Now I'm coming down. And I'm starting to feel how tired I am because, whatever, it's the last video of the day, that sort of stuff, you know. But, so I'm starting to lose my energy after that rant. Oh, man, oh, man. Okay. But, yeah, going against Good Girl Gwen. Good Girl Gwen. You know what? You go after Arthur, whatever. You know what? I can understand. You understand why they have to go against Arthur specifically and not just Uther. But going against Good Girl Gwen, I don't think so. You do not go against Good Girl Gwen. Hashtag Good Girl Gwen. And if I remember, I'm going to try to put that as a hashtag for the video. Hashtag Good Girl Gwen. Alright. So, now that we have ranted, let's actually get into the notes. The first thing I wrote down was Queen Gwen. So, we have, obviously we've been hinting at it, and, we do vaguely know Arthurian canon, basically. We vaguely know Arthurian canon, so okay, we do know that they're hinting that they're going to have Gwen be the queen. We even had an episode titled "The Once and Future Queen." So that will definitely. I don't know if that will happen in this show. I kind of hope so, but we did have the crowning of Queen Guinevere of Camelot, who is married to King Arthur Pendragon. That was really cool to see, honestly. And the interesting thing is, okay, so she had a vision, she had a prophecy. Essentially, what Morgana was doing in this episode was what Merlin has tried to do when he has visions. Which we had that, in the Crystal Cave, where, Merlin gets these visions and he tries to stop the visions before they happen. That's essentially what Morgana was doing here, But, like Merlin, now she sees that you cannot avoid these visions entirely, but you cannot take them at surface value. Now, she got a lot more. She got a lot more of a vision than Merlin ever does. Merlin just sees specific images, He doesn't see a full scene. She saw a full scene, the full crowning of Queen Guinevere and her being married to King Arthur Pendragon. So that one is probably going to be even harder to avoid, than any vision Merlin's ever had, Because that's the thing. Merlin can't avoid his visions, but he has to learn to basically like circumvent them or something. He has to make them work for him, basically. Like when he saw, when he saw, I know I have a dagger right here, but I'm not moving it. When he saw Morgana about to stab Uther, that did happen, and then, he blew up the window to knock her away and wake Uther up, and he did save him. But those visions do happen. These visions will happen. It's what can you do to make sure that the outcome of these visions works in your favor? And now Morgana has realized that. There's nothing that can work in her favor if Arthur is king, because if Arthur is queen, that means Uther's dead, and if Gwen is the queen, then that means Morgana has failed completely. So it's pretty much impossible to try to, avoid this, prophecy she's been given. But that's the thing is, we have also wondered, like back in season 1, how much, like when we talk about the dragon, he sees the future technically. He knows of the future, but is it possible futures or is it all set in stone? You have to also think of that with Morgana. Is her dream different from the visions that Merlin gets? We have to, take that into consideration. So, that's the thing, is if after this attempt, if it's like, well, then this vision is true, and it's like, well, then why would you keep going? You can't avoid it then. Arthur will be king, and Gwen will be the queen. There's just no getting around it, basically, then. So, I don't know. We're going to have to see how this affects Morgana, like if she will try something else, I wrote down Uther and the rules. That may be the worst part of this, is how easily Morgana manipulated Uther to where someone almost died, basically. So, that is the worst part, is that Uther can be so easily manipulated by Morgana because he does not suspect Morgana at all, And it's impossible for Arthur to even Arthur can't really present accusations against Morgana, So it's impossible, basically. I wrote down the picnic. It was a nice picnic, man. With our boy Arthur and our good girl Gwen. Hashtag good girl Gwen. It was a lovely picnic. I don't know, maybe they were going to bang on the side. I don't know. But they were making out. And so, like, everything was good. She had a really, awesome dress. He just had his freaking, like, vest jacket. He didn't really dress up that special. But she did. It was amazing. And then the two of them. Why wasn't Merlin on perimeter duty? Like, why wasn't Merlin scanning the perimeter at all times? That's what I would have Merlin do. Because that's the thing, is you two are out here. You know that if someone sees you, then, all this goes to hell, basically. And then that's the thing, is that the worst possible person sees them. Uther. So, next time, I mean, they won't be able to do this again, but they should have had Merlin scanning the perimeter. Then we could have gotten some hijinks of Merlin trying to distract Uther and get Arthur and Gwen out of there. That would have been funny, but no, Merlin just left. Okay, I did write down youth. I thought that was funny. Man, they tricked me for a minute. They really did. When he comes in and starts laughing, it's like, I was young once. I know the temptations of a servant girl. And it's like, aw. At first I was like, oh my gosh, are we just cool with it? Because, like, okay, I understand the whole thing of, well, you can't, be with her at all. It's like, okay, so it's like, just leave it alone then. And just be like, all right, slap on the wrist. You done. But the fact that it's like, well, you can never see her again and she'll be banished, basically. It's like, whoa, you might be taking this a little too far. But they fooled me. That's the thing. They played me as a fool. They played me, man. They played me when he came in laughing. And it was like, I was young once, It's like, I was really hoping. And again, that's another thing. It's like we almost circumvented Morgana's entire plot, First, Merlin should have gotten into hijinks to distract Uther. Then, Uther should have just been cool with it, which would have just been hilarious. Well, not cool with it. I mean, he would have obviously been like, all right, now you can't do that again, you obviously can't do anything with this girl. And then Arthur just being like, fine, whatever. And then, but then it starts going further. Banishment to make sure that Arthur will never see her again. It's like, come on. Banishment. And then this is where Morgana loses me. This is when I actively start to not like Morgana. The enchantment. She went further. It wasn't just, well, she's gonna get banished and then, that'll be that. Because, Arthur was even saying, like, well, I'll leave with her and I'll come back. I guess that was it. It was Arthur saying, like, well, I'll come back. We'll come back when my father has died and I will take my place on the throne with her at my side, I guess that's what pushes Morgana to frame Gwen as a sorcerer. But that's the thing. The enchantment. Gwen has been your friend and loyal servant for years. And you go ahead and you frame her knowing full well that she will be burned at the stake. Not just executed, burned at the stake. That's the thing, is that is where I'm ready. I'm done. I'm done with Morgana. We are Dunyan Rings. We are still done. We are Dunyan Rings now. It's like you actively tried to murder one of your friends. We're done. I'm done. I hated that. I did not like that. So yeah, the enchantment that, and then because of the fact that she played Uther like a fiddle, like a fucking fiddle, man. Played him like a fiddle. As soon as the enchantment was there, it's like, yep, Uther's gonna go all out. And he's being a bastard, and he smacked her. He smacked Gwen. And, and it's like, she will be burned at the stake, and she's being dragged off, and you give that smile, that fucking smile. Ugh. It's like, no, we are done. There is no redemption for Morgana. I'm done. I hope Arthur kills her. I hope Gwen kills her, I don't know. I wrote down Old Merlin. This was a little odd. That this was his plan, but this might have been his most brilliant plan. He basically invented a villain. Like, he's dealt with so many of these villains that he knows how to become one. So he disguises himself as an old man, and gets caught putting another enchantment in Arthur's room. That I actually thought was really clever, Because it's like, okay, there's got to be something here. So that was very clever that he created an actual villain that wasn't Morgana, because you can't level these charges on Morgana, and it wasn't Gwen, So I thought that was very clever, and it did show part of, that was part of Merlin's vision. That, we saw Old Man Merlin walking through that crowd, Now that means the last thing we haven't seen is Morgana on the throne of Camelot with the crown. So that's the last thing. Oh, I don't know. You can still get out of that. But that is going to be very tricky. Very, very tricky indeed. I also wrote down stuck. Merlin got stuck as the sorcerer. First off, the makeup on him was really great. It was a really good job. His voice was also like perfect as that, evil old man, So I enjoyed that, and obviously all the jokes about him being old, it's like, oh, I ache everywhere, and guys are just like, well, now you know how I feel. So, but he did get stuck. The moron got stuck with an aging spell, and he was going to be burned at the stake. And that, I have to say, when he is walking through that crowd and he's seeing all of them, and how they look at him with such disdain because, like, oh, he's the evil sorcerer. It's like this, and and going and seeing that pyre that was being built. That had to have been Merlin's worst nightmare come true. That he would that one day he would be caught and Uther would execute him, you know? So I'm glad they played that. They played that slow, you know? You know, he really took it in. He looked around at all the people, and then he looked at the pyre. And then he did escape, which was good. And I thought that was very clever. You know, he basically just blew up the pyre, and it was like, bye! And then just ran, and then took the antidote. So, now, it will be interesting to see, you know, what... We didn't really get what Arthur and Gwen think about this. You know, this some sort of old, you know, sorcerer who apparently enchanted the two of them, but they both know that they weren't enchanted. So, I don't know. That will be... I don't know. I guess they're not really going to think about it, especially because he's not going to show up again. But I don't know. But it was very clever. I really did enjoy Merlin's plan and becoming Old Man Merlin. But yeah, that's basically all I got. What a hell of an episode, I have to say. Yeah, that is pretty much all for this episode of Merlin. I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to get into the next one. We're down to the final 3 episodes of this season. So, yeah, I'm very curious as to where we're going next time. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Merlin reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.